A man has ruined a weekend away with his girlfriend by saying what he was thinking. Our reporter Emma Bradford is at the scene.
Martin Bishop and Eleanor Shaw had stopped at a cosy country pub after a romantic walk when Miss Shaw looked up meaningfully at Bishop and asked what he was thinking at that very moment. The weekend was about to go very wrong indeed.
I was hoping he would say, maybe this would be a great place to bring the kids one day. Or even something corny but sweet, like, I have everything I'll ever need right here.
And what did you say, Martin?
I said, pigs are much bigger than you expect. One of them was so big you could ride it.
More from us later.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome back. We with another episode of Making the Case, episode 117. Sounds crazy, but yes, this is the 117th episode, okay? And today, if you look at the clip, guess what we're talking about? We're talking about male's nature, a man's nature, okay? As hilarious as that clip was, I think it really does speak to how uninformed women are when it comes to understanding how males think and how they really react to certain things. But before we really get into it, of course, we got two channel norms. One, we'll take points and not people. Then two, we don't do all that cussing and derogatory stuff. We like to keep it professional over here, okay? But I thought this was such an important topic, and of course, I probably already have touched on either this topic before or a lot of the points that we probably are going to make in this episode. If you are a woman, if you are a female, please share this video with somebody you love. Share it with as many people because I think it's going to be very informative. And of course, many other men have done a video, and even women, for that instance, have done a video on talking about a male's nature. So we're going to look at it from 6 different lenses, 6 different viewpoints. Okay. And we're really going to hone in on now, of course, it's many more aspects to a man's nature than the 6 that I'm going to go over, but I really thought these 6 really get at the heart of who men are, what we do, what we consider important. And so I really want to address these 6 different points. But I think it's super duper important because what we do understand is women are not raised to understand men, right? They raised to get catered to. They're raised as princesses and raised to be queens. How many times do you hear women call themselves a queen or a princess, or they want princess treatment, right? So a lot of time women are not literally intentional about trying to understand men's nature, which a lot of times is the reason why they fail when they actually are trying to choose a husband and a partner, right? They don't understand what to go after because they're not trying to understand a male's nature. And not only that, a lot of times they keep doing the same things over and over and over is because they're not educating themselves. Like, how many times have we talked about men loving variety when it comes to women? Understanding that there's going to be a nice chunk of men that are not going to be monogamous. We understand that a lot of times this is in a male's nature. We've been talking about it, I feel like, for centuries, to be honest with you. But it's one thing when it comes to that ego, and I mean, everybody feel like it's not their man. It's not my man, it's not my husband until that actually happens. Okay. That's just one aspect we actually gonna touch. But we're gonna touch many others, and I really think it's important for women to take heed to what men are saying, because that's another thing. I don't think women really listen to men and what they want and what they need. And if you want to be married, if you want to be picked, if you want to be chosen, well, wouldn't you want to give men what they want? if you want something successful and long term, wouldn't you want to understand men? And I believe that men are a little bit more simpler than women as far as pleasing them, making sure they feel comfortable, making sure they feel safe, right? So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into the first aspect of trying to understand a man. And then we're just going to keep the ball rolling from there. All right, let's get into it.
The most toxic expectation women have for men is expecting him to relate to feelings the way a woman does. Men have a completely different relationship with feelings than women. They don't trust feelings, they trust facts. It's not how men operate. For a man, it's more about what he values, what he stands for, what facts he trusts. So instead of asking a man how he feels about something, ask him what he thinks. You can learn a lot more about a man if you ask what he thinks rather than what he feels. The most toxic.
And I want to start off with that clip because that piggybacks off of the very first kind of introductory clip that I showed you, is the fact that a lot of times, what was the woman in the video talking about? She was talking about how she felt, right? Why literally that man stated a fact, right? So that's one thing that if we understood, like, we'll get a better understanding of who we are as men and women, right? Like, we're literally thinking, okay, how can we solve something? What we got to do the next day? What we got to do to prepare for this presentation? Or like, we're literally so abstract and we so trying to stay on top of things and what do I got to do next, that we're not always lovey-dovey in our feelings. That's what women want, right? And when they're not getting that, then they tell us that we don't care. But instead of accusing us of being something we not because it's something they want, why not understand who we are as men and stop trying to change us as men? That's the thing that I feel like women should understand, and we will actually get along better relationally if women stop projecting how they feel onto men. A lot of time men say fact over feelings, and it's absolutely true. We care about the facts. Give me the numbers. Give me the data. All right. What is true? I don't want to talk about all that stuff being your feelings. That's subjective. That's why you think people argue, right? It's hard to argue over hard data, but you're going to argue over feelings all day long. All right. So women need to understand we are fact-based. We love knowledge. Okay. Let's go to the next clip.
Don't talk. And this is something that we have to look at. They're taught to be a man and internalize everything. And then on top of that, us women, we have never learned, we were never taught what it means to create the atmosphere for your man to open up himself to you. And so in times, in moments where your man opens up himself to you, it's very hard for you to receive it. In fact, in a moment where you were upset at him, angry at him, mad at him, you used that information that he gave you, which was so sacred, against him. It was a slap to his face. And now you're asking yourself, why doesn't he talk? Why doesn't he want to speak to me? Why isn't he going the same way that he did before? So we have to learn how to create the atmosphere for a man to open up himself to us. But it's imperative that we know that this atmosphere comes from within. Men don't talk. And this is something that we have
to be honest with you, I wasn't going to include any women speaking on man because, of course, they're not men, right? But it would be unfair to say that women can't understand a man's nature, because I think absolutely men can understand a female's nature, right? And the other thing is, I felt like she was just spot on. She was not missing, right? With all the information that she was saying. Yes, a lot of men are raised that way to internalize things, right? We taught if we get knocked down to get up. We're taught to stop crying. It's certain things that are just pushing us as a young child. I know it was for me, right? So a lot of time when I'm going through things, I'm not going to talk about it. No one would know, right? You'll see a smile on my face, but on the inside, I'm dealing with something. That's how we was taught as men. And women, like she said, women wasn't taught to create that atmosphere where a man feels comfortable with actually sharing with you things. Now, I will say this. When a man genuinely, truly loves you, he will open up to you. But she is absolutely right. If you break that trust, if you show him once he tell you and you laugh or you do something disrespectful, he'll never open up to you again. So you have to be careful with how you respond and how you receive the message once a man is comfortable enough to give it. Because men need safe space just like women do. We do want to be expressive, right? Only when we're comfortable. That's a similarity between men and women, though. Both of us want to express ourselves with people we trust and people we comfortable around, people we feel safe with. But once you mess that up, it's hard to come back from it. Okay. So she was absolutely on the money. And this is the man's nature, right? And sometimes he just don't want to talk about it. If he come home after a hard day, sometimes he just want to go sit on the couch, watch the game, grab a beer. And he needs you to understand that. Understand our nature, ladies. Let's get into the next clip.
Our nature is such that we instinctively provide and protect. Instinctively. We don't even have to think about it. It's something that comes out of us. We think about how we can make life easier, richer, and more secure for those that we love. Our nature is such that we instinctively provide and protect. Instinctively. We don't even have to think about it. It's something that comes out of us. We think about how we can make life easier, richer, and more.
And this is so true because, like, a lot of times when I see, and it's funny, I can literally drop something, and my nature is to, and I know a lot of time that's reflex, and not just men do it, right? But even if I'm in a situation where, like, I'm out and I see a kid about to fall or something, my natural inclination is to go to try to protect the kid. And a lot of men have that natural inclination to do so, right? It is literally innate in us to protect and provide. And really, I should have started off first with this video, but I think everybody understands that that is our role, right? So if a man is saying something to you, ladies, right, that's his way of trying to protect you, not to demean you, not to feel like he had power over you, to control you. He wants to protect you because he understands the dangers in the world. He understands how savage some men are, right? So if he tell you not to wear something or we shouldn't go here, this, that, instead of being combative, can you listen to the man that you voluntarily wanted to be with? Enough said. Let's go to the next one.
Now, like, if you think about what men do, like, men are natural problem solvers. My daughter said something so powerful the other day. She said, I don't understand man can't, like, solve problems. I don't get it. I thought to myself, that's a really interesting perspective. Like, I would have never, but I don't get it either. But I'm thinking, why does he have that perspective? Oh, she had a dad who solves problems. She has a husband who solves problems. So she can't comprehend, like, dudes who can't figure stuff out. But some guys don't figure stuff out because their mama wouldn't let them. And then they go and marry somebody like mama, and now their wife won't let them. Men and women are different. Men and women are also deficient. Men don't have what women have, and women don't have what men have, which means in order for a man to maximize his potential, he needs a wife. It's in the Bible. In order for a woman to maximize her potential, her purpose, to fulfill her ultimate purpose, she needs a husband. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but how do you find a husband? I'm going to make a statement that I believe is true. It's not about finding a husband. It's about being a wife when husband material shows up. How?
And this one is twofold, right? So I want to talk about two parts of this. One, I absolutely agree. Men are problem solvers, right? And sometimes I can't help it. I think somebody just be trying to vent and get something off their mind. I'll be like, have you thought about this? Or, well, why did you do that? And like, I just can't help it. I'm very analytical. Okay. I'm always trying to solve problems. Part of it is being a leader and having been in a lot of different leadership roles, but then part of it is just being a man, right? But the second part that I agree but slightly disagree with, he said men need women to maximize their potential, absolutely, and vice versa is the same. I just don't think that it has to be in the marriage, right? We understand that marriage is a choice. It's not something that everybody's going to do. How can you literally say that that would happen in a marriage when we know everybody don't want to get married? It's no different than everybody doesn't want to have a kid, right? But I definitely agree with the fact that I won't be to my maximum potential unless I have a woman by my side. And a woman that understands my purpose and is willing to help me fulfill that and be my helpmate. So I absolutely agree with that. But women have to understand men naturally want to do that. So you'll literally have to, and I think this should be very attention when it comes to in a relationship and communicating, right? Let me know up front that you just need my ear. You don't need me to solve anything. You have to tell me that. If not, naturally, it's just inquisitive. They're going to try to solve a problem. So let them know up front, hey, I just need you to listen. I just need to vent. And he'll be like, oh, okay, I got you. What's up? Okay. Let's go on to our next one.
A man can love a woman, truly, deeply love a woman, and he can still have sex with a totally different woman because men have this insatiable need for variety. It's in our DNA. We can't get rid of that. But a woman, if she steps out of the relationship, then there is something fundamentally wrong with the relationship, and there's something fundamentally wrong with how she views her man. She doesn't respect him. She's not in love with him anymore. There's a reason that she stepped out and slept with a different guy. A man can love a woman, truly.
You know what? This the one that's a part of a man's nature that is very hard for women to understand. Yes, we can step out even when we love you, okay? Because we just love variety. Now, a lot of men are not going to be honest and tell you that, okay? But it's just the truth, okay? Not nothing is absolute, okay? But unfortunately, yes, there is a lot of men who love variety, okay? And if we want to be even more honest, there's a lot of men that just don't have game like that, who aren't attracted enough to pull multiple women. And that's why they only have one. Okay. But typically what you see is for the more attractive of us, for those who have a lot of money, you'll see them with multiple people. The ones less attractive with less money, you typically see them monogamous. That's just how things work. And I know it's hard to hear. And I don't want to be the dead horse because we've talked about this multiple times on my channel. But it's just a part of a man's nature. And to be honest with you, it's also, once again, I've done the research. We didn't talked about this before. It's just also a part of the human nature. So women, sometimes they want something different too. It's just more so hardwired for men because women think deeply with their feelings. So once they really involved, they feel like monogamy is an expectation. But for men, we can be involved, but hey, I can love you, and you. It's just how we operate, ladies. Let's get into our last video to wrap things on up.
Perfection to motivate themselves. And that's exactly right. That's precisely what they do. You see that in the Tom Sawyer story. So Tom Sawyer is about 12 years old, and he's still hanging around with his friends like Huck Finn. And this girl moves across the street, Becky, and she comes out, and he's struck by her for the first time in his life. Something's changed. And the first thing he does is hop up on a picket fence and show off and balance in front of her. And he's saying, well, look at me, look at me. He's like the male bowerbird building something beautiful so the female will approve of it. And it's motivation. You know, and that's something that I think modern women don't really understand about men. They don't understand that at least to the degree that males are uncorrupted and not bitter because of being rejected, they're doing everything they can to kneel before the eternal image of the feminine and try to make themselves worthy. That's the chivalry story, right? That's what you should encourage in your partner. So out of chaos emerges this first form. It's the feminine form. It's partly the form that represents novelty as such.
And let me speak to that real quick before you go on. And this is one thing that maybe a lot more women understand than not, is that men do almost everything for women. And I'm not talking about protect, I'm about provide. I'm talking about they buy jewelry, they buy clothes, they buy houses and nice cars. Like, it's all to impress women so they can get women. Because we generally love being around women. We love a feminine woman. We just love a woman, period. Right? So the only thing that we don't do for women is when it comes to being on our purpose. But a lot of times, a lot of men don't know what their purpose is or haven't found it. So then when you take that aspect out of it, they just doing for women. All right, let's keep going.
So, and on one hand, it's promise, on the other hand, it's threat. That you wouldn't believe, and I don't know, because I don't understand the situation with women as well as I understand the situation with men, obviously, being a man. But I don't know if women have any idea how paralyzing they are to, especially young men. A very large number of my clinical clients, but also young men I've talked to in general, are absolutely terrified of women because they're terrified of being rejected. And the terror exists in precise proportion to the attraction to the woman, which is a horrible paradoxical situation to be in. It's often why men make such fools of themselves in front of women that they're attracted to. It's because, first of all, they don't see the woman that they're attracted to, because what the hell do they know about her? They don't see her as an individual. They see her as the manifestation of a judgmental ideal. And then it's only in establishing the relationship with the actual woman that they can start differentiating between the judgmental ideal and the actual individual woman. And that also requires a sacrifice. And the sacrifice is, you never can have an ideal woman. So to have a relationship with any woman, you have to sacrifice the relationship with the ideal woman, and you have to see the individual woman and separate her from the ideal. And that's the same thing that happens to the hero in Sleeping Beauty, right? He sees the evil queen who actually turns into the dragon of chaos, and it's not until he can defeat her that he can establish a relationship with the actual princess. And that's exactly the case. I had one of my clients who ran this men's group, which was quite interesting.
And to be honest with you, I'm gonna stop it right there, actually. So what women have to understand is that, and I think a lot of women, although they may not know this, they understand it when they look at their own personal situation, right? Most men are not out here getting women like that, right? Meaning they're not dating and courting and being involved with a lot of women. They're not out here being sexually active like a lot of women think. We know that there's a small minority of men that are having most of the children. We don't think about it in that lens, but that's absolutely the facts, right? Because men, we love to deal with the facts. So men, yes, they can fear rejection. I was actually having this conversation the other day with my barber, right? He told me that, he actually used to fear rejection. That's why he didn't used to talk to women. I had a similar fear as well, but it was more to do with a lack of confidence in myself more than a fear of rejection. But now it's almost like the opposite. I don't approach because it's like, is it going to be worth my time? Because I'm a busy man. I'm on my purpose. I'm on my grind, right? So what women have to understand is, like, when a man puts himself out there, that is scary. And because women don't do it on the grand scale that men do, they don't think about it from the man perspective. And so this video right here was to talk about how women can start to understand men and think about it from their purview, versus always being me, 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 me. Take me out, buy me flowers, put a jacket over me if I'm cold and stuff. Like, in order for our relationship to get back to some kind of balance, some kind of reciprocity, we have to start thinking and taking care of men. Because I always say the very boys and sons that you're raising are the ones that another woman is going to despise because of how you raise that young man if he doesn't have a father in his life. Understand his wants, understand his needs, and treat him accordingly. Because when he do, the floodgates are open. He'll do what he need to do for you. And now I'm talking about men in general. All right. All right. So that's today's episode, man. Hopefully you gained a better perspective. Hopefully you took some nuggets that you could take. Please share, comment, tell me what you think about the 6 different topics. Do you think they're on point? Do you think they're not? Just let me know, So, but I don't think I've said this in a while, but I appreciate you, man. Thank you for checking out the channel. Thank you to all my loyal followers, loyal listeners for watching the content. Hopefully you gaining something from it, because that's the only reason why I'm doing it. If it's not going to help anybody, then I'm going to stop doing it. All right. But as always, I'm you are me. Love always, love eternal. Remember, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. And I'm out. Deuces. One love.